I'd like to welcome everyone to today's webinar about reducing feed costs in organic pig production. I'm Alice Formiga of eOrganic, and we are presenting this webinar in partnership with the Organic Farming Research Foundation with funding from the NIFA OREI program. The webinar will last approximately 45 minutes, and then we will have half an hour for questions. The webinar is being recorded, and you'll be able to find the recording on the eOrganic YouTube channel within about a week, along with our very large collection of archived webinars. This is, however, our first webinar about organic pig production, so I am very excited today to introduce Dr. Yuzhi Li, who is a professor of organic swine production at the University of Minnesota's West Central Research and Outreach Center, located in Morris, Minnesota. She has led several organic swine research projects sponsored by the USDA OREI. The overarching goals of these projects are to develop strategies to reduce feed costs, maintain pig performance, and minimize the negative environmental impacts of organic pig production. So welcome, Yuzhi. We're glad to have you, and I am going to hand over the screen controls to you as soon as I can get them up here on my screen.
Thank you, Alice, for the introduction, and thank you everyone for joining us today. It's really exciting to see so many people from different places all over the country. Thank you for joining us. So we're going to talk about organic pig production, and I'm hoping some of you know something about organic pig production, but maybe not all of you. So I'm going to talk about what organic pig production really is, what make a pig organic pig. So anything listed here basically is different from conventional pig production. So first, organic pig production, requires no confinement housing at all, which means throughout the entire life of the pig production, actually starting from gestation, the last trimester of gestation, no gestating stalls, no farrowing crates, and all the way to market. And also pigs are provided outdoor access, fresh air, direct sunshine, and they are housed on bedded floors. The second thing is no antibiotics throughout the entire life. And another thing is no tail docking or any other ear notching kind of thing. But I should mention that castration of male pigs are allowed. And finally, pigs are weaned at 6 weeks of age compared to 3 weeks of age for conventional pig. Last thing probably is they are provided organic feed and bedding. So at the Morris, the West Central Research Center, University of Minnesota in Morris, we have a certified organic swine facility. And this facility is the only certified organics facility at the land grant universities across the country. So I want to show you some pictures of our facility, give you an idea what organic pig production really is. So this is a gestation barn for sows they are pregnant. So basically we have sows here at weaning and they are here through the entire pregnancy. So we move the sows to the farrowing house just 3 days before their expected due date. And you can see the straw bedding. And then, okay, let's go to the next. So 3 days before they due to farrow, we move them to this group farrowing system we call. And each sow has an individual box for farrowing, and they come out to the communal area for feed and the water, and also it's kind of the dunking area as well. So the door is open. We have 8 sows per room, and they farrow in the individual box they choose. And you can see there's a freedom for the sows. They can move around, but piglet mortality is an issue. I'll talk about that a little bit later. And this is another issue for piglet mortality because the door is open. Other sows may come to visit, and the sow may go out as they wished and may not come back to nurse their pigs. So organic pig production not necessarily require a group group farrowing, but a lot of farmers use that because it's easy to manage. You can move the box. We do that at 10 days of age when the piglets after birth. So this is at least one of the form. So as I said, we wean pigs at 6 weeks of age by moving the cells out of the room. And then you can see we don't have a farrowing crate box anymore. So the room becomes one large group, large pen, and all the piglets from that 8 cells are housed in the same room. And pigs are housed here for another 2 weeks. And here's a picture of outdoor access. And you can see the cells and pigs, they can come out anytime they want. So at 8 weeks of age, pigs are moved to this whole barn and they stay here until they reach market weight. So this is before the market weight. The market weight uh, is usually about 270 pounds. And this, you can see in Minnesota, in snow, in winter, we have a lot of snow, but pigs, may not necessarily come out during the snow. This picture was taken when we did this study to weigh pigs. So that's why, and our graduate students were helping with weighing pigs. So why producing organic pigs? I think there are two very distinguished thing I should mention. One is food safety, because we do not use antibiotics at all. And if any pigs become sick and require antibiotics treatment, those pigs will be moved from the herd and they can't be sold as organic pigs anymore. Another thing is they are fed organic feed and provided organic bedding, which means those feed ingredients never have GMO, or when they reproduce those feed ingredients, they are not used. They are not treated with herbicides, pesticide, that kind of thing. And the second thing is animal welfare. We talk about tail docking, Heel docking is a pen procedure to pigs, and in conventional pig production, all the pigs are docked at birth to prevent tail biting. And that's another study that's another project I'm working here at the University of Minnesota. If you do not dock tails of pigs in conventional system, you definitely see a lot of tail biting. In our experience, you probably see 20-30% pigs got damaged tails due to tail biting. But for organic pig production, we did study over the last several years, and there are a lot of factors contributing it, but we never seen any pig with tail biting or injured tail caused by tail biting. So that probably related to a bedding we provide to the pigs. And that's definitely is a animal welfare issue. That's the natural way pigs wanted to be treated, to be raised. And of course, no confinement, more space and fresh air all contribute to animal welfare. And to farmers, organic pig production probably provide their business opportunities because uh, they got premiums. So the price for organic pigs is usually about 2 to 3 times of the conventional pork. So roughly recently, I think the price is about $1.8 per pound of carcass weight. It could be changed vary from 1.8 to 2.5 dollars per pound of carcass weight versus about 80 cents, 70 cents, or whatever for the conventional pork. And usually, you probably know organic pig farmers, they are kind of small scale family farm, and they cannot really compete with the large scale uh, operations. And also, they are very connected to local community. They may direct market their pork products. And finally, they support organic crop production. We know a lot of crops actually we produce in the U.S. is used for animal livestock feed. And, all the organic crops a lot of them will be used for organic. livestock, including pigs. But there are some challenges in organic pig production. The three major ones we listed here. One is parasites, because we use the bedded floor, which cannot separate species from pigs, and they got infection of parasites. And the second thing is piglet mortality. I just mentioned because we gave cell freedom a movement, but they crash on their piglets. So piglet mortality in organic production is much higher compared to conventional pig production. We probably see 20 to 30% of piglet mortality in organic production system. And here in Morris, I think on average, we can say about 20 to 25% preventing mortality. And in conventional production, you probably see less than 10%. The last one is high cost of production, especially feed, ingredients, and the bedding. And that's the area we are addressing recently. So today we are going to talk about how to deal with high price of feed and the bedding in organic pig production. So the very first study we did, this is a couple of years ago, is to grow winter camelina to feed the byproduct of camelina to organic pigs. So first of all, what is camelina? Camelina is oil seed crops in Brassicaceae family, like canola, like rapeseed. And winter, camelina basically has a winter or spring. Spring camelina you plant it in spring, and winter camelina you plant it in winter. So we use winter camelina because it can be used as cover crops. It covers the soil in late fall and early spring. So regardless winter or spring camelina, they require minimum fertilizers and suppress weed, and resistant to pests and diseases. All these traits are desirable for organic crops. And camelina oil can be used as cooking oil, which has a lot of omega-3 fatty acid, and in Canada is uh, defined as functional food. And also camelina oil can be used as a biofuels, and recently it's very popular in aviation fuel usage. So when you produce camelina, grow camelina for camelina oil, the main product, the byproduct camelina press cake, is part of it. And camelina crop itself, the seed, contain about 35% oil, and you cannot crush all the oil out of it. So I think it's safe to say 70% of the camelina seed eventually will become pressed cake. And we need to think about how to utilize camelina pressed cake. So it's rich in energy and protein, should be able to use in livestock feed. And that's why we, designed this project and funded by ORG. So basically, we grow camelina on organic land. Basically, we grow organic camelina, and then we harvest the seed, and then we get the seed crushed for oil, and then collected the pressed cake. We put the cake in the feed, in the diet for organic pigs. So we uh, use 400 pigs, raise them organically. So the control diet was a corn soybean based diet, and the treatment diet, we replace 10%, actually 5% corn, 5% soybean meal with 10% camelina pressed cake. So 4 pens per treatment, 50 pigs per pen, and the study lasted for 14 weeks. Started when pigs were 10 weeks of age. And you can see this is the pen we use, the pigs for the study we use. This is at the beginning of the study. So quickly, the results of this project. Basically, what we found was the treatment group had reduced final weight. From the chart, you can see all the pigs started when they were about 60 pounds. And then 14 weeks later, the control group was 287 pounds, but the treatment group was 273 pounds, about 14 pounds less. So over that about 100 days, the control pigs gained 225 pounds, but treatment pigs gained 212 pounds. Why? Because the treatment group did not eat as much as the control group. So the control group ate 600 pounds over that entire 14-week study period, and the treatment group ate 580, about 20 pounds less. Because they eat less, they ate less, so they gain less. That's fair, right? So there we didn't see any difference in feed efficiency. So feed to gain basically means every 2.7 pound feed they ate, they gain 1 pound weight. And the mortality morbidity there, basically pigs either, they were removed or they died or whatever from the study. So the control group, we see 6%, and the treatment group we see 3%. But with this small size, sample size, see we have 200 pigs for each group, and 6% means 12 pigs, and 3% means 6 pigs. So 12 pigs versus 6 pigs is statistically it's not significant difference. We also tested pork quality, and we didn't find difference in pork quality. So kind of summarize of this study, we found replacing 10%, feeding 10% of camelina press cake to organic pigs will reduce feed intake by 3% and weight gain by 6%. And we suspect this probably because the anti-nutritional factor in camelina press cake mainly glucosinolase and erucic acid. And these issues probably can be addressed by crop breeding, oil extraction, and the fermentation. In actually University of Minnesota, we have a group called Forever Green Initiatives, and they are working on breeding, and they say they can address these issues. And another thing I should mention is this study was conducted almost 5, 6 years ago, and I know with the development advance in crop breeding, probably now those anti-factor concentration probably is lower in camelina compared to the camelina we used. So the next project we did was to use a winter hybrid rye for organic pigs. Basically, that's a similar idea, but hybrid rye, first of all, there's no uh, anti-nutritional factors, significant anti-nutritional factors as camelina press cake. And another thing is rye is a dual crop. Grain can be used as feed, and the straw can be used as bedding. And also, winter rye has a lot of benefit in crop production, such as diversified crop rotations, and also environmental benefit because it can suppress weed. You do not see a weed in winter rye field almost at all. And another thing is, as winter, cover crops, it has same thing to prevent soil erosion. Here's some pictures of winter hybrid rye we planted here. So we grow winter hybrid rye for 2 years, and starting in 2021, and then we did another year 2022. So this is the first year's picture. So we planted on October 2nd, and 10 days later, you can see the rye, grow very nicely. And then, winter comes and they are covered by snow. And the next spring in May, you can see some winter kills. But in June, in July, before it's harvest, and it just come up very evenly, very nicely. So 22, we had a very good year. So as I said, we grow 2 years, and this is the harvest year. 22, we harvest 22 and 23. And the first year, the green yield was 104 bushel per acre, and the straw was 1.8 pound per acre, 1.8 ton per acre. And the second year in 23, last summer, the yield was much lower compared to the first year. We got about 70 bushel per acre, and the straw is also much lower, 1 ton per acre. So use the rye grain and the rye straw. We did the study here. So the control pen, we feed pigs control diet, which is corn soybean based diet, and they were bedded with wheat straw we purchased. And the treatment pen, we call it a rye pen. We replaced 50% of corn in the control diet with hybrid rye. And we also use rye straw as bedding. So the two pictures on the left, you see that's the beginning of the study, see how little the pigs were, and then the pen on the right is at the end of the study before we market the pigs. So we collect data on growth performance, which means weight gain, feed intake, bedding usage, and here's just a picture about bedding and the pigs in the snow was a day one group when we shipped the pigs to weigh them before market. So we did three groups. Each group we have similar to camelina study, 50 pigs per pen. So we have five group, which means 250 pigs per group. We also collect data on pork quality and the taste evaluation. So carcass treat and the pork quality. And we also had 72 consumer panelists to taste the pork from both groups. And then we ask them about likings, the overall liking or the flavory. I think the overall liking, the texture liking, and the they also rank the intensity, toughness, juiciness, that kind of thing. So I'll show you some data next. So here's the pig performance data and the bedding usage. And you can see our pigs started about 60 pounds again, and then they end up at 280 pounds. And then the carcass weight is 220, and then the dressing percent, which is the carcass weight divided final body weight, live weight. So the dressing percent is about 75%. And then the total feed intake during the entire study period, that 13 weeks study period, was about 580, 80, 90 pounds. And then the bedding usage is about 260 for control and 215 for rye. But statistically, there's no difference between the two treatment groups. And we also didn't see difference in pork quality and all the variables listed here, carcass weight, back fat, loin, eye area, that kind of thing. And we talk about the liking, that's overall liking, flavor liking, and texture liking. And we also ask them to rank juiciness and off flavor. We didn't see any difference in these, but there's a tendency the panelists feel like rye pork was a little bit tougher than the control pork. They gave 9 score versus 8 score for the control group, and statistically is a tendency, now it's 5%. P is not 5%, but 7%. But the the rating for toughness are all kind of intensity. The neutral rating is 10 because that's a 20 score from 0 to 20. So if you rake anything at 10, which means that's expected toughness. So anything below 10, which means no tough. So it's still below 10, but just, they gave a better score to the control pork versus to the rye pork. But we also use a machine we call the shear force to measure the toughness, and we didn't find difference. So the difference in toughness, if there's any, we couldn't detect that through machine. So if there's any difference in toughness, I would say that's still very minimal. So we did economic analysis. We want to know whether it's viable to grow rye for pigs, and eventually, you are saving feed costs, or eventually save the net return. So we estimated the production cost. This is on per acre. So we use the database of the University of Minnesota's Farm Finance Management database called FinBin, and you can see the costs include seed costs, fertilizer costs, machinery, labor, and the rent of land. And mini basically means insurance, interest, that kind of thing. And the total grain cost was $590 per acre. And the straw cost basically just feel like you don't need anything extra except baling and storage. And that's was estimated $50 per acre. And to give you a reference for the straw we bought, organic straw we bought over that 2 years is $150 per ton. So based on the crop yield, the feed consumed by the pigs and bedding usage by the pigs, we calculated feed and bedding costs. So for the control group, pigs consumed the control diet consisted of corn and soybean and base mix. And then based on how much they ate, and then the price of organic corn, organic soybean meal, and the base mix we purchased, and we calculated the total feed cost for the control group in 22 was $218. And the bedding, as I said, we purchased $150 per ton for organic bedding, and the bedding usage, if you still remember, control group use about 260 pounds per pig. So that, turned out it's about $20 per pig for bedding. So put them together, feed and bedding cost is $237 for control pigs. And on the other hand, for the rye pigs, basically they use half of the corn as the control pigs did. The other half was replaced by rye. And the soybean meal, the same thing we purchase. If you see the two groups are a little bit different because the pigs ate a little bit different. The rye pigs ate a little bit more than the control group. And then the total feed cost for the rye pigs is $204, mainly because the rye was cheaper. And then the bedding we produce ourselves, and it's $50 per acre. So the bedding also cheaper, much cheaper, about $3. So putting together feed and bedding for the rye pigs was about $27, about $30 cheaper than the control. So the same thing we calculated for 23, and this, if you notice that the total feed cost is much cheaper for the control group, simply because the organic corn for that year was much cheaper. The first year, in 2022, organic corn was at $11.5 per bushel, and 23 was $8.5 per bushel, so dropped dramatically. Same thing for soybean meal. We purchased in 22 at 1,650 per, and in 23 it was nine 900 960, I believe, $950 per ton. So that's why the total feed cost for the control was much cheaper, and the bedding still the same. We purchase at the same price, and the total is $161. And I put the revenue here. The revenue means the pig we sold, the money we get from the pig we sold. So it's basically $1.8 per pound of carcass and times the carcass weight. That's how much we get per pig. And then the net revenue is the difference between the net return. I'm sorry. The net return is the difference between revenue and the total cost of feeding and the bedding. Basically, for control pigs is 386 minus 161. So the net return is 225. The same way to calculate the rye pig. And we, again, you can see the rye yield was much lower. So this year compared to the year before, the rye cost is much higher and the corn is lower. So basically replacing corn with rye didn't save us money at all. So the total feed cost you can see didn't save us money. As I said, this group of pigs ate a little bit more than the control group. The bedding, again, the bedding yield was lower, but still the bedding was cheaper compared to what we purchased. So the total feed and bedding cost for the rye pigs was $152, and the revenue was 378, and the net return is 226. So if you compare the two in terms of net return, the rye pig is still a little bit more. We gain $1 in this case. So put them together, we calculate potential savings on feed and bedding, which means the potential saving means if we grow rye ourselves and replace 50% of corn in the diet with rye and also use rye as bedding, how much we save compared to you purchase everything, corn and soybean meal, corn and soybean meal diet. So in 22, we saved $30 on feed and bedding. And in 23, we served $9. And then again, use the same method. We calculated how much we gain in net return. And in 22, we gain $22. And in 23, we gain $1. So these 2 years, we kind of consider the first year is kind of good year if you don't say the best. And the second year was a bad year if you do not say it's the worst. So if you average the good year and the bad year, we still see $11.70 in increase in net return, which means it worthwhile to grow organic rye to replace corn in feed, and use rye as bedding, rye straw as bedding. So take home message, basically we say replacing 50% of corn with hybrid rye in the diet does not negatively impact growth, performance of pigs, or poor quality or eating experience of consumers. And growing rye to feed and bed organic pigs is economically viable. But the gain in net return depends on hybrid rye crop yield. I should say it may also depending on, corn price if you replace corn. But I think from our perspective, organic straw is very expensive. So I think it's still worthwhile to grow rye. Finally, I think I want to acknowledge USDA or EI and or EI means Organic Research Extension Initiatives, and also Organic Transition Programs, or G, to support our research programs here. And also the research team at the University of Minnesota here. And the picture here, you can see we have two graduate students and one young scientist. They are the powerhouse. They collected data, all the way through. So without them, we could not get this done at all. And finally, we really appreciate input from our stakeholders. We got a lot of ideas from them, and they inspire our research project or programs. We really appreciate. And finally, I should say thank you for this or yeah, for this for the Organic Farming Research Foundation and the Alice Group to support us, and for the invitation and for today's webinar. And I'm ready for any questions or discussions with you all.
Thank you very much. So we have gotten some questions already in the chat. So I'm going to start with those. Okay, so I guess there were some people that are interested in comparing the conventional housing versus the organic housing, and whether on cement, how the pigs can exhibit rooting behavior.
So the rooting behavior is an instinct, regardless where you put the pigs. So even in the conventional system with a fully slatted floor, you see pigs that they root the floor, root the panning, everything. So when the rooting mm, behavior is not met, I believe uh, problem happens, like tail biting. So in the organic production, because we provide a bedding, and that's a really rooting material, the best rooting material, I think. And so that satisfies pigs' requirement for rooting. And I think that's probably the best thing from pig behavior perspective or welfare perspective. But there are a lot of challenges in terms of providing a straw as bedding in conventional production system. Did I did I answer the question? Is that
Okay, well, I'm not sure, but if not, you can always post another question. So, um, yeah, there's another question here about whether there's an environmental issue when they're on soil rather than cement.
that's a very good question. Actually, I think in organic production, they are not we're not required whether they are in on cement or on soil. Uh, Actually, the barn I just showed you is clay. It's not on cement, but our gestating the barn for the pregnant cells, that's on cement. And at the beginning, that barn was not on cement as well. But the cell just dig holes in the barn in the pan during summer when it's hot, and by the drinker, the drinker can soil the floor, and they dig a big hole and bury themselves in there, and then you may find, oh, we lost a cell, and no, she's burying herself in the big hole. So because of that, we decide to put cement. And for this group finishing barn, they are kind of small. When they are 280 pounds, they are out. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. You may say the soil is better for the pigs, but I don't see, because you provide a lot of bed, we provide a lot of bedding. So I don't see cement and soil make a big difference. It's really a management choice.
Okay. Let's see. We have a question here from Thelma. Thank you so much for this great presentation. I may have missed this information, but do you have an estimate on how much land would be needed to grow rye per pig or per 10 pigs?
That's a good question. Yes, I think our calculation was 1 acre should be if you replace 50% of corn. I'm not talking about 100%. You just use. So if you replace 50% of corn, 25 pigs per acre for rye grain for feed, but you won't provide enough bedding for that 25 pigs. So for bedding, 1 acre only provide bedding for 16 pigs. So, let's say you probably should say 16 pigs per acre. That's our good year. And the bad year, the second year, we really. So I would say probably safe to say 16, 10 to 16, that 1 acre you can provide pigs bedding for probably, I'm thinking about 10 at least. Our good year is 16.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's see, we have a number of questions coming in, which is great. Let's see, here's one from Jay. Why only 10% replacement of camelina for the ration? Is there a toxicity compared to soybean meal and camelina cake? Why not replace all the soybean meal with camelina cake in the pig ration?
That's a very good question. Actually, before we did the organic pig trial, we did one in the conventional farm with smaller groups, and we tested replace 5%, 10%, 15%. I think that's three, just because the anti-nutritional factor. We knew that. And the 15% was really damaging to pigs' performance. So the anti-nutritional factor I just mentioned, the glucosinolates, erucic acid, that increase the, because it's kind of toxic, I should say, and increase a liver burden. And we also find the liver of the pigs were enlarged. And actually, in this 10%, we also see liver was enlarged.
Hmm.
So again, as I said, with crop breeding uh, improvement, the new variety of camelina may be better, but when we did it 5 years ago, that's the case. So 10%, I think from our first study, when we did 5%, 10%, and 15%, we recommend 5% is better because 5% you don't see anything. And 10%, I just showed gross feed intake was reduced. Pigs are smart. They don't like it. They know it's kind of poisoning or whatever. They don't eat it. That's why.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, here's a question from Susanna. Well, that's actually a comment. It's about, I guess it's about using rye as bedding and harvesting the rye. Um, the value of the rye as a cover crop is mostly in the nitrogen from the plow down. Do you have any comments about that? I mean, I guess, yeah, how beneficial the rye is as a cover crop in the system.
Right, that's really agronomy. I'm the pig person, but since we grew right, not I mean, we have a big group. We have agronomists on the team. Uh, I know a lot of people use the rye as cover crops as a green manure. I think that I'm not sure whether that's the question. Uh, in our case, we harvest the rye grain, and to me, uh, I don't know the nitrogen part. That's the green manure question, probably.
Yeah.
So I should say rye grow very well, just from what I observed on the farm, they just grow very fast. And then if you want to use it as green manure, you definitely have a lot of biomass to incorporate into the soil.
Okay, let's see. Here is a question about from Dave about whether you have any experience with heritage breeds of pigs.
We never raise heritage breeds pigs here, but I visited a lot of organic pig farmers and alternative small scale. I saw them, yeah, the heritage pigs. First of all, I mean, organic pigs, doesn't require genetics, although they prefer Chat or whatever, just because the maternal trait, you do not want a lot of like the commercial pig breed. We have a very large litter size, one sow can give 14, 15, 16 pigs. And the heritage breeds, they usually have smaller, more robust pigs. So I never grown them, but I saw them on the farms, on other farms. So most time, besides a smaller litter size, they usually grow slower. They are fatter, and they probably feed efficiency is also not great if they, which means it takes them longer to grow. And we calculate for the growth finishing period, every 2.7 pound feed you gain 1 pound weight, but for them you probably see three whatever pound feed per pound of weight. So it's really, I mean, whatever fit your farm. I don't have raising heritage raised myself. I should say that.
Okay, let's see. Did this study whoops, let's see, my question box is switching around here. Okay, here we go. Thank you for this presentation. There's a question from June here. Great information. Did this study include any information on rye nutrition? We've seen studies from Europe showing a reduced need for antibiotics when feeding rye. Is this something that you also observed?
Right, nutrition. We have two graduate students on this project, and one will be defending in November 1st, coming up in 2 weeks. And she is focusing on nutrition. Actually, her advisor is Dr. Lee Johnson here, my colleague, and he's a swine nutritionist. So we did. Uh, Nutritionally, rye compared to corn has more fiber, so that's why rye has lower energy, and it also kind of have higher lysine. But I believe the digestibility of lysine is not as high as uh, corn, just because the fiber. So I think in general, people talk about fiber in rye may have some benefit to health, to everything. I think at the beginning we thought. Another thing is rice supposed to have intrin phytate, phytase, which can help pigs to digest phosphorus, because pigs do not have the ability to digest plant-based phosphorus. And when with that, we may see, I think we hypothesize there's a nutritional benefit of feeding rye, but actually the results from our study, we didn't see difference. We didn't see, yeah, the benefit.
Okay. Can you please speak about the varieties of hybrid winter rye that you used? We'd like to hear some of the winter rye variety names, if you have them.
Right. Okay. I think our is a tassel. I try to get our students. It's TA. Uh, I I think I will send back. So Alice, could you get that information and I will send back to, I
Yes,
can't
I can
find.
certainly do that. Yeah, we
Yeah,
can we
because
can get that to you. That was a question from Robert, and if other people are interested too, we can just post that on the
yes,
page
please
on the
do.
eOrganic with the recording. If you just go to eorganic.org and then you go to webinars, within the
Oh,
week, we'll have
I
it there. Oh,
got
she got it.
I
Okay,
got the
great.
variety.
Okay.
Hold on. It's TAYO variety.
TAYO. Okay, great. That
Right.
makes everything
It's
easier.
from Albert Lee seed in
Oh,
Iowa.
okay, Albert Lee seed. Okay, thank
And
you.
it's the KWS. I think that's a company, a German company.
Oh, okay. And is that the same seed supplier that you used for the camelina organic variety seeds? Do you know that?
The camelina actually is from the researcher here. They've
Oh,
been,
okay. Mm-hmm.
it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
in-house, I think.
Okay.
So
So,
if anyone want to do camelina, contact me and I can, you know, find the person to contact or yeah,
okay, great. Yeah, because you're breeding camelina there at the University of
right.
Minnesota. Okay, yeah.
And I'm hoping they may have a better variety
Mm,
compared to what we use.
okay, good to know. Let's see. Here's from a question from Joel, who is a hobby farmer. For pastured pigs, could a winter camelina or rye crop be planted in unused pasture in late summer for foraging late winter to early spring to reduce the need for supplemental feed?
That's a good question. I know I just attend a field day in Iowa last month, maybe no, in August. This is November. Uh, Don Ron Roseman. They do, yeah. They grow rye, they grow field peas and whatever, and then reduce the feed cost like pigs. Uh, I'm not sure whether that pigs graze or whatever. I think so. So I I think rye, you can my understanding, as I said, I'm not an agronomist at all. So you can only, if you want rye grain, you can only grow them either in spring or in fall. And then without the grain, you don't get much energy for the pigs. Pigs need a lot of energy. Pigs are not like cattle. So even pasture pigs, you still need to feed them, energy and protein.
Okay. Let's see. Can camelina or rye be used with other animals besides pigs?
Definitely. So I think camelina, especially chicken, probably is better user for camelina because they don't care about the taste. Pigs are kind of picky. If it doesn't taste well, they do not eat. And also chicken are kind of, especially broilers. They have they live shorter. And yeah, you can market them quickly. So also other, I'm thinking cattle, they probably can ruminant and the rumen can do a lot of things yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah, Lee just sent in a comment just to clarify the variety was Tao, Tayo from KWS, which they got from Albert Lee Seeds. Okay, great. Let's see, I'm just going to go back here and see whether we have any other questions, but if not, this is your opportunity to ask any last burning questions here. I'm just kind of going through back to make sure. Oh yeah, there was one about um, whether the straw in the organic bedding is, encourages rooting and that's what reduces the tail biting behavior.
Definitely. As I can say, that's definitely yes.
Okay, great. Um, let's see. And here's a question. Can you type in the website to the video? Oh, okay, that is for the recording of the webinar. Let me just type that in. It's our website. And it's eorganic.org. And if you look under webinars, you'll be able to find all of the recordings for all of our many webinars. And this one will be available within the coming week. It'll take me a little while to just get it all edited and up there, but not very long. So one last question here, it looks like. Is there, are there any other presentations or can you say anything about organic parasite control?
We did a project on organic parasite control, also supported by ORG. Uh, Basically, I think first of all, I should say again, parasites prevalences were high across organic pig farms. You probably see, especially for growth finching pigs, um, you probably see, I think it's safe to say 90% of pigs got infected. Secondly, how to do that? I think we really explored everything, and we still don't know how to do it. Uh, so I think for the camelina study, I was thinking those glucosinolates may kill parasites. So we look at, camelina fed pigs versus corn soybean fed corn soybean meal fed pigs, whether there's a difference in parasites. We talk about internal parasites and we didn't see differences. So I think there's no good method, I should say, but from our study, you can see our pigs grow very fast, very healthy. And, the parasites really didn't affect anything. And so I think we still work on that, and we did a biofumigation. We have a publication. We have some slides, before webinar on parasite control. But the bottom line is we didn't find the effect method to control parasites yet. But on the other hand, we also didn't feel parasites affect growth, performance, or health of our pigs either.
Okay, great. All right. Well, I think, okay, so that's from Dallas, and Dallas is going to keep watching for Parasite. So if we can certainly keep in touch, and if you do another study and you find out more information, I really enjoyed this presentation, so we would love to have you back. And yeah, I would just wanted to thank you, Yuzhi, and also thank everyone for the great discussion and all the questions that you submitted. And we will look forward, if we can, to finding some additional webinars on pig production, since this was a great group. And thanks again to the Organic Farming Research Foundation for recruiting Yuzhi to join us today. And thanks to everyone for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciated the opportunities. And yeah, anyone want any information as the parasite thing, we have some slides and yeah, I can send. Just contact me. I think my email information is on this slide. Yeah, and anyone who is interested in organic pig production, contact me because we are really a small community. I want to reach out to everyone who is interested in organic pig production. Thank you.